Welcome to NDZ, Niagara Discussion Zone, where the topic is anything and everything. This show is not politically correct and there are no safe spaces. We're honest, we speak our minds, and if you get offended, that's too bad. Consider this your only warning.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Caruso from NDZ, Niagara Discussion Zone.
This is Christian Mancuso kicking in on NDZ. How's everybody doing today?
This is Andrew Little, co-host of NDZ. How are we today?
So today we're actually going to get very controversial, and we got lots to talk about. $650,000 over budget.
Yeah, and Tony...
And $47,000 for who's a bitch.
Yeah, there's lots on deck today. I just want to start off quickly, Tony. It's October, which means that it is Autism Awareness Month. I don't know, for people that know me know I have a little 7-year-old boy at home. He's autistic. So, you know, there's always fundraisers, things going on for Autism Niagara, Autism Ontario, Bethesda. So, you know, keep that in mind for anybody out there who likes to give a little donation. These kids are in desperate need of help. We all saw what happened with the Liberal government. They were getting kicked out. They weren't getting kicked out. So it's definitely a community that needs some stability. So.
And I got to meet your kid this morning.
Yeah.
Smart guy. Oh, yeah. They're very intelligent.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? People look at them and they're like scared of them. Why you got to be scared of them for? They're very, very intelligent people. You know what I mean? They're just, you know, in certain areas they got their strengths and they got their weaknesses. But you know, he's got a fabulous dad like you. You know, you're keeping him on the right path. And yeah, so you know, it's. You know, people need to. This awareness needs to be out there a little bit more.
Yeah. The rate of children being born with autism is just through the roof. I mean, they don't have the answers yet, but you know, with all the research and that they can do, I hope they find it, because these kids are beautiful, man. And like you said, they're all smart in their own way. Every single one of them. I've seen like it's a spectrum, right? So it can be not severe to severe, and even the most severe, they all have their little thing about them that's beautiful. So
that's good. No, I look forward to his future, because he's doing very well. Also, for our viewers out there, Andrew Little could not make it into the studio today, so I got him on Skype. So we're gonna be all talking this way. So let's get to it.
Yeah, let's jump right in. We're gonna talk about the $650,000 over the budget.
Like, what happened there?
Tony. By the sound of it, the original estimate the city had
It was about what, 140,000?
No, they said about
164,000.
Yeah, 164 grand. So from what I can make out, they went $650,000 over budget. So,
but why? Why did it go over this much, Andrew? Like, what happened here?
Well, from basically what I can tell is they ran into some stuff that they weren't anticipating, obviously, which I find to be a little odd, considering that I'm assuming they found oil tanks, broken oil tanks.
Hold on, oil tanks under the ground.
Yes. Now, I'm assuming this was from a maintenance facility where they, from time to time, have to do oil changes when they're doing mechanical work on the buses. So. And
you're telling me environmental studies, they never knew about these tanks? Like,
no, they would know.
You're telling me that they don't know that there was tanks under the ground. Are you kidding me right now?
Of course they know. It sounds like, well, in my opinion, it goes one of two ways. Either they showed up there thinking they were just going to knock stuff down. It's impossible not to know they're there. It's on the land. There's things underground.
Chris, I gotta interrupt you here. That's the whole idea.
Of course.
They were going over there to knock the stuff down. But you're telling me that this contractor or the city, you never tell these people before you go smash something down, oh, listen, we got tanks under the ground over here. Or there's something wrong with a couple of walls we gotta take down. Like, seriously, you actually think to yourself that we haven't learned our lesson from the Gale Center?
No. I know, yeah, it sounds like another case of being surprised that there's contamination. Like at the Gale Center, you know, chemical plant there, they go in, do the work. Oh my God, it's contaminated. Well, who would have guessed?
But the question is, who do we point the finger at? Because this is stupidity now. You cost us millions of dollars for the Gale Center. You would actually think that we finally can move past that this will never happen again, that we'll never go over budget. Like this Gale Center, we could have built another 3 or 4 Niagara Falls Memorial Arenas for the amount of money that we spent on
They
them.
wanted to bring the Niagara Ice Dogs here. Look how they're doing. Look at the Meridian Center. Look what they brought St. Catharines. They could have put that team there. They could have had the Memorial Cup. Don Cherry was trying to bring it to the Falls. It's one drop ball after another. 650 grand over. I'd like to be as outraged as you, Tony. I'm just not surprised. It's you know.
The thing I don't understand is, why wouldn't they do the soil samples beforehand, just in case they ran into something like this? And then maybe they can try to apply for some sort of, I don't know, environmental removal grant from the Ministry of the Environment, either the Ontario Federal. See if they get some grants to reduce the burden on the taxpayers.
Absolutely.
Or they could have just budgeted that it was going to be that much over the original quote because of that, and add that into the budget instead of the surprise $650,000 overcost.
Exactly.
I don't get this.
And Andrew, that boils it down to there's two things that happened. Either they went there totally not prepared, or they knew about this, didn't want to kick out a high budget right off the top. I don't understand. I mean, like you said, there's no way the government could have kicked in and helped them. I mean, 6,800 tons of contaminated soil was taken out of there. That's not just a little couple truckloads. That's a pretty big deal.
6,800 tons, yeah.
That's insane.
6,800
And you're telling me that you did not have any understanding on what was under the ground. Like, I don't understand this. Like, when was this facility even built? Years and years ago, right? So you're telling me you do not know...
56. It's a 56-year-old building.
Okay, it's 56 years old, and you're telling me you don't have the blueprints. You're telling me that you don't understand what was underneath the ground over there. You're not telling me that you didn't have the land surveyed. Like, I don't understand how they're pretending like they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, Tony, I'm just as...
You know how many streets that they could have fixed with $650,000? You know how many sewers that they could have fixed up? Better yet, why don't they... If tourism is the heart of Niagara Falls, why couldn't they use that $600,000 and fix up Falls View Boulevard? That's actually... doesn't look very nice to the tourism. You know, we want to pretend to act like Las Vegas, but yet we're not being like Las Vegas.
No, it's a poor man's version at best.
No, it's becoming a joke. Like everywhere you're going, like, oh, over budget for this, under budget for that. Like I don't understand this. Like $650,000 is a lot of money.
Absolutely, and taxes keep raising, and they keep being wasted.
That's right. So how come they won't lower taxes by 1%? Like I don't understand. If you're mismanaging, if you're throwing away our tax dollars, you can't lower it by 1% to give us a break. Hydro's going up, water's going up. Property taxes going up. What's going down? The money in our pocket. That's what's going down.
Yeah. And the middle class is pulling a David Copperfield and disappearing, you know?
Chris, there's no such thing as a middle class anymore. You have an upper poor class.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a middle class anymore. And if you are a middle class, those are the families that unfortunately are going through hard times right now. Those are the families that are declaring bankruptcy right now. Those are the families that are actually struggling right now. I hate to say it, there is no more middle class here in Niagara Falls.
No.
Look at real estate here in Niagara Falls. Houses has tripled here lately. So you know, you're a young guy, I'm a young guy. We can't even afford to buy a house in our own city. We got people from Toronto coming over here picking up everything.
Yeah, and every house is going $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 over what its value is because they're coming down here. There's nowhere left to build in the GTA, man. They're all on top of each other. They're coming here, ripped out Kaler Road, all the forest area there, and it's just going to keep coming back and back and back towards Fort Erie, man. And it's, you know, I just hope they protect all the wetlands and all that we have as well. But
the wetlands is another topic, though.
Of course.
Apartment rentals are going through the roof. I mean, in St. Catharines, for example, it's not unheard of to pay well over $1,000 for a 3-bedroom. What's up with that? How are people supposed to afford that?
Oh.
Especially with this unemployment rate that's so high. We have the highest unemployment rate.
And I remember when I was running for council, we had over 10,000 people. When I actually did a research on it for the Employment Ontario, yeah. we actually had over 10,000 people unemployed here in Niagara. Okay? And I'm scared just to take a look at the amounts now, because I know for a fact that the tourism season is done right now, that the employment rate has actually skyrocketed.
Of course, yeah.
And you know what? It's not looking very good for our youth.
No. It makes me scared, you know, as a father. You know, what are these kids gonna do? You know, we got $650,000, like you said, $650,000 to waste, but you know we can't. Like, there's no investment into businesses. There's no investment into job creation. It goes to the Niagara Parks or or this WeGo bus, as we've seen with some research done. There's lots of stuff.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be another topic for another day, because we need to talk about this this WeGo, and yeah. So we're gonna leave that, because that's a whole discussion for itself. But getting back, you're talking about you being a dad, and you want to leave a legacy for your child. But unfortunately, your parents, at least they have a house. Mm-hmm. At least it seems like the first 2 generations are building, the third generation's maintain, but now the fourth generation's having a difficult time now to purchase a house here in Niagara Falls. It scares me a little bit, because I wonder what's going to happen to us in about another 5-10 years from now. Oh. It's changing. The economy's not getting any better. We're not getting any manufacturing jobs. That's gone. It's almost like a dead deal here. We only got tourism here. Tourism can barely scrape to pay the bills off.
Yeah, of course not. I mean, the United States is having issues. A lot of our tourism comes from people from outside of the country. Now, if they're having economic woes, how do you think they're going to come in and do business in Niagara Falls if they're having difficulties?
Who wants to do business in Niagara Falls? That's the problem. We got companies that want to come over here, and we're scaring them away. You know what I mean? It's sad. We're having a lot of industrial companies that want to come to our city. What factory doesn't want to come to Niagara Falls? The problem is that if we have a factory here, we're going to take away from the tourism sector. And you got to think about something. People say that slavery is finished. It's not finished. We're living in it. This is modern day slavery. Yeah. We're getting paid minimum wage, and yet we can't even pay the damn bills.
In the last 3 years, last 3-4 years, gas has gone up 40% increase for your natural gas. Hydro 40% up. But Tony, I just read, they took that minimum wage for all the people here from $11.25 to $11.40. So got to thank the Liberals for that one, eh?
Well, it's getting tough now, and especially with the hydro rates that's going up right now. Everything is going up. And let's take a look at even at our local issue here. You know what I mean? Yeah, even gas is through the roof, and yet there's gas wars in St. Catharines, our neighboring city.
Yeah.
How come we don't have gas wars going on here?
Why would they want to do that? Maximum profitability.
Yeah, profitability, because we have tourism here.
Yeah.
But again, the residents here, we end up getting screwed out of the deal.
To be a resident in Niagara Falls, I mean, if you're really breaking everything down, I mean, if you ever want to feel absolutely worthless as a whole, be a resident in Niagara Falls. They couldn't care less, buddy. It's all tourism. It's this and that. There's zero infrastructure here. There's zero opportunity for people. If you're not in healthcare, and you're not smart enough and don't have the funds to go to law school or something, you're toast here. You got to get out of here, man. I tell all my friends all the time when they're, people get stuck in these ruts, these dead-end jobs, and just move. And
even if you have degrees, you're washing dishes.
Exactly.
You're a dishwasher. You're a server. You're this. You're that. You know what? Servers, you make a lot of money.
In the summer.
In the summertime.
3-4 months a year.
That's right. And then the wintertime, we're all starving. Okay, you know what? Let's move on, because we understand this $650,000. I'm just wondering how they're going to budget for this, because councils complain that there's no more money left. They're complaining that they're this and that. Council's saying that it just doesn't make sense. How are you going to get the $650,000 now? What programs are you cutting out now? What What activities are you going to get rid of?
Well, something that would benefit the locals would be my guess.
It's insane. You know what I mean? But another waste, $47,000 to find out what on who called who or what, a bitch?
Yeah, I believe it's his last name's Todd.
That's the CAO.
Yeah.
No, did you actually watch the council meeting?
Yeah, it was hard to pick up. I know that to me it sounded like he said, "You son of a bitch."
And that's what the report found out. It said son of a bitch.
Yeah. And she, the counselor, was upset, and she felt that she was called a bitch. So they did, from my understanding, an inquest. But why? Where does the $47,000 cost come from? Does City Council not have human resources?
They have a lawyer.
Yeah, and a lawyer.
Okay, so they paid $47,000 for a lawyer in Toronto. That's right. To find out if this was true. Okay, so what is our city solicitor doing? What are we paying that guy? To say yes? To say no?
I don't know why they couldn't have picked the Niagara lawyer. It's okay, you don't want to do business with somebody from Niagara Falls. What about St. Catharines or Welland or Port Colborne or Fort Erie?
Because they're going to say it's a conflict of interest. Because
It's not a city.
But Andrew, this is the problem. We have a city lawyer. You're telling me that he could not come up with this conclusion? Better yet, we have a human resources department. You're telling me the city solicitor, the human resources department could not get together and discuss what went wrong?
Well, apparently that's because, as I read in the paper, is because they answer to the CAO, and could be a conflict, which I find a little on the weak side, to be honest with you. You have to do your job, whether it means going after your employer or not. It's regardless. I mean, if you're fulfilling your obligations of the job, what are you going to do? Fire you because you did your job? Yes, that's a lovely lawsuit waiting to happen.
Okay, but it's not about that though. The fact of the matter is we're paying.
Also, it sounds like.
Yeah, I understand, but we're paying for a city solicitor to offer legal advice to council. I understand that he needs to do what the CEO says, but during a council meeting, he's accountable to council. Because I don't see the city solicitor saying, "Oh, Mr. CEO, am I allowed to speak? Oh, Mr. CEO, can I say this? Mr. CEO, can I do that?" No, he's speaking when he's asked a question. So in that particular situation, superior or no superior, he needs to tell us what went wrong, and he needs to create the report, not $47,000 later. How much? This guy's on the sunshine list too.
Of course, but listen, back this all the way up. Back this up. I don't care where the lawyer came from. Who's thin-skinned enough to really make that big of a deal, whether they were called a son of a bitch or a bitch? If I had $47,000 for every time I was sworn at in my life, Tony, Jesus, I'd be on the sunshine list 100 times over. I'll tell you that for free.
Oh, I'll be joining you on that list too.
No $47,000 charge necessary, man. Like, what, how thin-skinned do you have to be? What world do we live in now, It doesn't need to be like, people get mad and you can disagree on things. And if someone says son of a bitch or bitch, is that something? And now my question is, you guys are a little more on the side of understanding how this city council works. That would have had to have been voted upon by the councilors for them to do this inquest. They would have had to make a vote.
Absolutely.
Not at one point did anyone there say, like, I would like to see who voted. Like, nobody said, like, sorry for my language, but like, who gives a shit? Like, somebody said son of a bitch or bitch. Like, are we that thin-skinned? Like, who cares? Like, that's what comes with the job.
I don't care. Like, do you know politicians swear a lot, especially in history? Truman used to call people son of a bitch. Around here, we had Norm Sterling, who used profanity in the Ontario legislature once, quote unquote, kicked the shit out of them. I think it was pertaining to child abuse.
Yeah.
They didn't spend $47,000. He apologized, and the speaker accepted the apology, and they went on.
And even our Prime Minister Trudeau, he called what's his name, Kent, during the minister at the time, "you piece of shit," in quotations.
And all he did was apologize and say, "I take that away from the record."
That's right. I want to remove.
From the record.
That's right. I want to remove my remarks, and I apologize to the House. I don't see any money that was wasted to find out about that.
And to be honest, that's a little more harsh.
Especially in the House of Commons.
Yeah, that's
and we're talking about what, hundreds of representatives compared to what, 9 people at City Hall?
Yeah, sitting around.
Come on, give me a break.
It's from time to time people lose their emotions under stressful situations.
Of course.
So rather than accept an apology, or the mayor takes both of them into the office and say, "Hey, look, you got to work this out because this is not conducive to a good work environment in council." They're going to spend $47,000 for a lawyer to tell them what we already know.
Absolutely.
No, this was 100%. This was 100% of a waste. I don't care what anybody says. You can tell me till your face turns blue that the city solicitor is a conflict of interest, or the human resources would have been a conflict of interest. That's their job. That's their job. Their job is to provide legal advice. Their job is to do human resources jobs.
Yeah, if I say I'm working and I have an issue with a boss, and I would be expected to go to a human resources department, that's their job. They're there to resolve conflict, to take care of employees and staff, and and things like that. I don't get the 47 grand. It'll never make sense to me, no matter how.
And what has it accomplished?
Nothing.
Honestly, what has it accomplished? He apologized. I didn't see her apologizing
For the 47 grand?
Fired.
Huh? She wanted the guy fired.
For saying son of a bitch?
Yeah.
Oh my. My goodness. I understand we live in this new...
And she
new
went
day
out
age.
of her scope to go to the papers to say, I want this guy fired. That's a personnel matter.
Absolutely.
He's an employee of the city. You do not go to the newspaper and say, I want this guy fired. I want this guy this. I want that guy that. You're acting like a child.
It's a typical 2016, like I'm pro this and don't do this or this hurts my feelings. That particular counselor, it just seems like she's very, very, what's the term that they use for it? It's PC, it's politically correct, it's don't call this, don't hurt my feelings with that. You know what?
You know what I say? I say suck it up.
Exactly.
You're a politician.
Your work.
You know what? She made a statement that she was getting a lot of hate mails during the fire ban.
Oh.
She was getting this, she was getting that. People were calling her all sorts of names. But that's okay. That's fine. We're to brush that off. But because an employee lost his cool a little bit because you were insulting the guy, you kept hammering the guy, like, give him a break. Of course he's going to lose his cool. Everyone loses their cool.
We're human beings, man.
She called his integrity into question. Of course he's going to get a little...
And he's the CEO. He's the CEO. He works along the side of the mayor and council. You don't start questioning. You got to question things. I'm not saying don't question it, but be a little bit more professional. That's right. Be an adult.
Exactly. It's childish. $47,000 now down the drain. What are they going to raise the price on next to cover that crap? That's
that's a joke. Like seriously, come on. No, it's wrong.
Well, I was reading the paper and that they put a list of some projects on the list under $47,000, which they could have spent on.
Yeah.
Solar neighborhood park play space improvements, $45 grand. $40,000 for the floor painting repairs at the Gale Center. $30,000 for accessibility upgrades at the Armory. $12,350 for Niagara Falls War Memorial cenotaph restoration. And $10,000 for the McBain Park benches.
Or better yet, $47,000 goes towards the silver budget thing too.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they could go find an oil tank with that 47 grand. No, you know what? We can talk about all these things till we're blue in the face. A leopard never changes its spots. I don't see things changing here, and it's sad.
Well, you know what? I hope this is an eye opener for the residents of Niagara Falls.
It needs to be.
You know what I mean? And next election, something needs to be changed here. Something needs to be done. This is enough now.
What did you call it last election, Tony? It was the clean sweep it needed.
Clean sweep. You know what I mean? Let's start cleaning up. We got to clean house a little bit. This is getting too much.
Yeah, I want to see an angry mob down the street, man. I want to see people with brooms in the air, man.
We're not Americans, though. That's the problem here in Niagara Falls. It seems that people are all talk, but when it comes to action, we all get choked up a little bit. But you know what? People are waking up now. They're seeing what's going on, and I do feel that there's going to be a nice little shift next election. We need it.
Absolutely, and that kind of draws me into if you guys checked out that presidential debate. I mean, say what you want about Clinton and Trump. Those are the two candidates, but someone like Donald Trump he's kind of he's not for everybody. I'll start that off. When his opinions and the way that he expresses himself aren't always the best, but he has look at Donald Trump is running for president and he's calling out trade deals. People are waking up, man. Bernie Sanders was doing the same thing. These people are waking up the nation and the states, and the same thing will happen here too.
And Trump said an awesome thing too that I had to say also. What did Trump say? Hillary, you were a politician for over 30 years. You're coming out with conclusions now? Same thing with Niagara Falls City Hall. Half of these guys have been there for at least 20 years. What have they done differently now? I don't see anything happening in our city that's a lot different.
No, what's going to change? Nothing changes. You keep voting for the same, you keep getting the same.
That's right.
Everybody's afraid of change, but it seems like there is look at in Britain, they voted out of the European Union. The old boys are getting upset.
That's a change.
There's a power struggle within the States, within Europe. There is a power struggle between the youth and the generation above ourselves, and the old boys are getting mad, man, and things need to change. And
establishment's upset because they're losing their power.
Absolutely,
That's right.
absolutely.
No.
You nailed the hammer on the head there, buddy.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to our first official podcast.
Yeah,
that was exciting, eh?
It was good.
Yeah, we're gonna get in very more controversial stuff with this.
Oh, for sure. Next week, I think we're gonna kick on.
Oh, hey, don't say our secret too soon.
No.
That's gonna be a big one. That what we have on that. You know, a lot of people are gonna. They need to listen to next week's podcast.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Very interesting.
I can see me and Caruso getting into it a couple times too. Should be
well, I disagree with you on that one, but yeah, we're gonna need Jerry Springer for you and I.
Yeah, absolutely,
Don't look
buddy.
at me. I don't have the looks for it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to us, and take care.
Have a good day, guys.
care.
Thank you for listening.